Editor Tiffany. I just want to say that I apologize for this episode being out a day late. I had a little bit of a malfunction with my Wi-Fi box, but everything's a-okay, and hope you enjoyed today's video.
Hello and welcome back to another BL podcast with your host, Tiffany and
Saray.
Swadika. Annyeonghaseyo. Konnichiwa. Ni hao.
Your BL podcast where we welcome all she's, he's, theys, and gays, and we can't wait to talk to you about anything and everything BL.
We're going to start with China. I'm pretty sure me and you have the same number one.
Probably not.
You really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I'm guessing you're thinking Untamed.
Yes.
It has not taken my number one spot.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We need to know. Now I'm intrigued. Tell me your
my number one spot is actually Addicted. Yeah. Have you seen it?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. It was like, I have such an unhealthy obsession with this show and the books. I have both of the books translated, and I gotta send that to you, by the way.
Yes.
I don't know what it is about the show, but I just love that show so much, and it means so much to me. And I found it pretty early on in my journey, and have rewatched it so many times, and it makes me so mad because of what happened after it. Because Addicted became so popular in China that after it was released, they restricted their regulations on LGBTQ content. Because it got so popular, so they became even stricter. That's my number one. I feel like I have an emotional attachment beyond like the quality of the show, you know?
I guess my first one, Untamed. I cannot get away from it. It's literally a part of my life every single day. It's on my feed. I swear, like, I'll be like, I'm not thinking about BL, and then bang.
It's one of those shows where I want to make everybody watch it.
Yes.
When it got put on Netflix is when like I felt like I couldn't avoid it anymore. Like it was a sign that I had to watch it.
No, and the fact that they're still promoting it to this day, like they have the I don't know the Chinese term for it, but like the anime version,
Dongmei,
and then they have like the
little people.
TV.
Yeah,
and then they have like and they're just like, how many versions can there be? And
they're gonna keep marketing off of this. I mean, the author, like MXTX, is getting so much more and more like popular, and like her novels and like this genre is getting a lot of attention. So I feel like they're just gonna keep promoting it because it's one of her biggest like hits.
My number two, I think you're gonna have this eventually in your list. Word of Honor.
It's my number 3. Okay, so when I was talking about like how I was going to bring up censorship, okay, it was for this because China redoes their censorship laws every year, and everybody was comparing Word of Honor to the Untamed, and they were like, how in the world did all of this stuff get past censorship when in the Untamed, like, we didn't even get a handhold, we didn't get anything, like, we didn't even get the word soulmate, but in Word of Honor, they're like rubbing each other's hands, calling each other pretty or my soulmate, commenting about each other's backs and collarbones and like their waists, and pretty much being like there was no censorship at all other than them they didn't make out. And it was because that year was a really good year for censorship laws, and they didn't renew a whole bunch of them. So that year they like chugged out Word of Honor and got it out before the censorship was renewed again. And everybody was so thankful for it because it's incredible. Did you see any of the shooting from the like fan meetup for Word of Honor?
Yes, I did.
It was crazy. All of them are so like off the handle. I love all of them. And they were all so like shipping everybody with everybody, and they were so vocal about it, and they loved it. They loved that they were in a gay TV show. Like they loved it so much. They had so much fun with it.
The difference between them, like Untamed and Word of Honor, oh my god. I feel like only
you can tell just watching the two of them how much censorship power, like how much power censorship has. Not that the Untamed isn't powerful, because it's one of the most like well-known BLs in China, like, but just what they can, like, there's such a difference in them solely just because of censorship. It's crazy.
Yes. I guess
you're number 3.
I I talked about this last time. I don't know if it made it in the video. I can't remember. A Round Trip to Love.
Mm-hmm.
I had to put it on because I think it was the first or maybe the second thing that I've ever watched for China. I don't really want to get too much into it because it's an intense one.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit triggering for some people.
I loved their love that they had before everything hit the fan. Yes. You know what I mean? Like in the first part when they were still in school, and like the rings were so cute, and like they did love each other, and like the blonde guy forgave him, but like he couldn't be with him. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But the other guy was just so in love and obsessed. Like the ending broke my heart.
Yeah.
It's the stupid brother's fault, getting people involved and bringing in guns and.
I guess your number 4.
My number 4 is Guardian. I think I talked about this a little bit before with you, and it's TV show set a movie, and I feel like if I had to put it in a section, it's like it's an in between The Untamed and Word of Honor, because like shooting wise, like budget wise and stuff, it's more like The Word of Honor, but like vibe wise, it's more like The Untamed, like because it's more serious, you know, it's not as boisterous. Mm-hmm. But it's so good. I feel like it's one everybody should at least watch once, and it's free on YouTube. Everybody watch it. And it has the actor from
A Round Trip to Love?
Yeah, the smaller blonde. He's one of the main guys in Guardian.
You know, okay, this is totally a little bit off topic, but he's actually a cosplayer now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I went in and tried to like look for what he's doing now.
That's so cool.
His account's like cosplayer, actor, but he does still do like BL stuff.
Yep. Well, this is Guardian's older too. It's before The Untamed and stuff when it came out. But it's after a world trip around or whatever the fuck. But he's the main guy in Guardian. It is super, super good. The ending is really, really good, but bring tissues.
Oh no. Another one. Another one. I'm running out of tissues already.
I'd say the ending is sadder than that. I don't know if you found like The Untamed sad or not, because
no, I didn't find The Untamed sad.
It is so, the Guardian's ending is so sad. Like it's super sad, but then there's like a tiny itty bitty peephole of a glint of happiness. Mm-hmm. Not really, but kind of, because like they know that they like each other, but they can never be together. So it's really sad, but like there's a glint of like happiness. But the show is really, really good.
So is there anything else you wanted to say about Guardians?
No, just everybody should watch it. Very good.
Mine, you already said it, and I put Addicted.
Yep. But it's such a good show. I think I'm a sucker because of the type of like, I love China so much because I'm a sucker for subtle subliminal messages, and that's all that China can do because of their censorship. So like all the little things of them like slowly learning, like respecting each other's boundaries and like fixing each other's clothes and getting each other the food they like, and like waiting out in the cold for the other guy to come back from the grocery store, and all the little things that they do for each other to show that they care for each other. It sucks me in, and it makes me so, because I feel like that's how I show too, you know, like silently loving people and like showing them quietly that you are remembering the things that they like. And that's what they did for Addicted, to show that they liked each other. And so I just fell, I love it so much.
So I think you're number 5 now?
Yeah, my number 5 is called Uncontrolled Love. It has 2. See, I like this movie because it's a movie. Okay. And I like this movie because it is one of the movies a little bit earlier when we talked about where it actually has 2 different endings. One is a sad ending and one is a happy ending. And I watched the happy ending first. This. Yeah, it's about like a master, like a rich person who gets his father to adopt an orphan so that he can have a servant. Mm-hmm. And he falls in love with that servant, and the servant already loves him, like from the day he gets adopted. But the like master doesn't realize that what he's feeling is love. So he like does all these things, like biting his ears and hugging him and taking baths with him. And like he clearly likes him, but he fights against his feelings. And so the servant like goes away, and one ending is really sad and one ending is really happy. And I originally watched the happy ending first, and I'm so grateful that I did. And then I went back and watched the sad ending and was bawling my eyes out. And I really love that it has the double ending.
I forgot about that one. Oh my god. I'm so tempted now to make that one my number 5. It has to be now. Okay, that is my number 5.
So my first honorable mention is Precise Shot. And then my next one is Advanced Bravely. And then my next one is called Youths in the Breeze.
Okay.
And then my last one is Heaven's Official's Blessing. Your turn.
I guess mine was The Ambiguous Love.
And then for China's like what they focus on, you know, tropes or whatever, I thought China really excelled in a lot of their relationships are like the sad, tortured, forbidden, longing, some kind of sacrificing love. And like a lot of their relationships have one of those kinds of tropes in them. Like either it's sad, it's tortured, it's forbidden love, it's a longing from a like distance or over time love, or it's a sacrificing love.
Yes. Oh, that's so true. Let's see. How about the camera work? What do you think about the camera work?
I think China is really good. They have their own style of doing things. So like they have a lot of supernatural magic and Taoism and spiritualism and stuff in their shows.
Mm-hmm.
And the way they shoot it is so different than like how America would shoot it. So they have their own style because they do like the hovering in midair. You can kind of tell that they were on a wire kind of shooting. And they do a lot of like slow-mo with the wind being like slowed down. And so they have their own way of shooting things. You can definitely tell when something has been shot in a Chinese style if you're going to like compare it to something like America's style. You want to do the Philippines or Vietnam next?
So I put them together because I haven't watched many.
Oh, okay.
So I'll let you list because I feel like you watched way more than I have.
I have my top 5 and then 3 honorable mentions for both.
Oh my god, I'm so behind on these countries.
But I will say, I think probably these 2 are definitely my weakest countries. Like I know the least about these countries, but I was still able to do like the full lists. Yeah, but like my background knowledge and like historical knowledge over the years isn't as dense in these 2 countries as the other ones.
Mm-hmm. I originally had a list for the Philippines, like a top 5 list for the Philippines. But I didn't feel comfortable enough to talk about them all that well. But I'll say their names just to be like, yeah, I've watched them, but I don't because I watched most of these the ones I watched were when we were in lockdown. So they all pretty much have the same trope. But
which is something, especially with the Philippines, that was something I was going to say anyway when we talked about like its tropes, is that or I was going to talk about this anyway when we talked about the Philippines. I was excited to talk about the Philippines because they weren't really in the forefront of BLs for a while, and then when quarantine hit in 2020, they took off and started dominating in the BL trope. And since 2020, they've released 88 BLs and counting.
88?
Yep. And we're not even halfway through 2023. So in 2.5 years, not even like 2 years, they've released 88 BL shows. Wow. In just the Philippines. Isn't that crazy?
Wow. 88?
They like took, as soon as quarantine hit, they took charge and they were like funneling them out one after another.
Wow. I didn't think there was that many. So yeah, do you want to start first? I'm trying to.
Sure. Which one do you want me to do? Philippines or Vietnam?
Let's do the Philippines first.
Okay. So my first one for the Philippines, like in the movies.
Like in the movies.
Yeah. It's so good. I love this one. It's on YouTube and it's about like filmmakers. And one guy, he's out and proudly gay, and he's the next door neighbor to this other guy who we don't really know a lot about other than he's a film person. He really likes films. And his neighbor like starts living with him because of certain circumstances. And there's obvious underlying tension between the two. And yeah.
I got for Philippines, I got Game Boy.
Oh, okay.
So Game Boys was the first BL that me and my dad ever watched.
Oh, really?
And it was during quarantine. And we were in the living room, we had nothing to watch, and we were like trying to figure out what to watch. And for some reason, it popped up. And I shouldn't say first. I should say first Philippine BL that we ever watched together.
It was good.
It's so good.
I think the Philippines are really good at shooting in an intimate way.
Yes.
Like, it feels so intimate.
Even if like they're not even there with each other.
Yeah.
But like,
and even like the audience, I feel like I'm intruding on their personal time and like their bedrooms when they're like talking, or like I feel like I'm their best friend, you know, that they're confessing to.
It honestly really felt like we were on these Skype calls with them.
Yeah.
Like, it felt like I was just like the fly in the wall, or like the friend, or like even like when he was like gaming, like we were like that, like we were the viewers.
Mm-hmm.
It was also so different from like everything we've ever watched.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed it though. You can go to your second one.
My second one is called Meet Me Outside.
Meet Me Outside.
Mm-hmm.
What is that one about?
It's also another one that's on YouTube. I think a lot of mine are on YouTube. I feel like a lot of Philippine ones are on YouTube or available like on YouTube, you know?
They really
But
are.
it's about one person that works at like a hotel or like a vacation place, and another social media influencer comes to stay there because he needs a break from his life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a really slow, simple, honest like storyline. The guy that works at the vacation place is a follower and a fan of that social media influencer, and they meet and they fall in love and they help comfort each other's traumas.
I guess my number 2 technically would be Boys Lockdown.
Okay.
So another COVID type situation.
Mm-hmm.
I think 8 episodes.
A lot of the Philippines started making, like, they were making them before, obviously, but they really started like getting into BL like when quarantine hit. My third one for the Philippines is The Boy Foretold by the Stars. It's set in high school, so it's got like a younger kind of love to it, but it's about these two boys that go they are trying to find love, so they go to a fortune teller, and the fortune teller's like telling each boy these different things, and they eventually find each other through this fortune teller. And I think it's on like a school retreat or something. They end up finding, like, running into each other, and it's like they're supposed to be together, you know, they like are meant for each other.
Yes. Okay. That sounds like a good one. I will have to put that on my list.
1,000 Stars kind of feel to it, where they're kind of like, it's a lot of natural light, a lot of it happens at
a little
night.
rustic.
Yeah. But it's still really pretty, you know? So it has that, The Boy Foretold by the Stars has good cinematography in it. It's different than the other Philippines because a lot of them, they're shot through like a webcam or a phone camera, or they're supposed to be, you know? Whereas this one, it's more cinematic.
The Philippines and Mexico have a very similar way of filming.
Mm-hmm. It reminds me of web dramas.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, you know, like back in the day, I mean, obviously, I don't know, you might know more than me in this field, but like, I really liked soap operas and like Hispanic, Mexican, like short mini series and web dramas, and they have a similar vibe.
Yes.
Yeah, it's your turn.
I guess my number 3, Hello Stranger.
Okay, I think I've seen that.
It came out, I want to say, again in 2020, another pandemic one.
Why is the first thing that comes to my head Kai?
I don't want to spoil anything else. I think I don't even know how many episodes. I think it has like, it has 8 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Another quick watch. It's like 22 minutes or 20 minutes. You can go next.
My number 4 is Quarren Things, the series. I feel like that was a really popular one that also came out during quarantine.
It sounds familiar. It
was a really popular one, like, when it came out. But it's pretty much about like 2 friends that are forced to like room together because they get put into lockdown, and they have to quarantine, and they kind of develop feelings for each other while they're in quarantine.
I watched it. Yes.
It's good. Yep. That's my number 4.
You said that now, and I'm like, that was a good one too. I'm switching this around a little bit. That's my number 4.
Okay. So I'm gonna keep this at fifth, but like I almost wish I'd switched them. But my fifth one is called Cheat the Series.
Cheat the series.
If you haven't seen it, I recommend this so fully. It is so out of the box. Like I've never seen another Philippine BL like this. And it's very dark, and it's about like magic and possession, and it's also about manipulation and exploitation, and like witchcraft, and having kind of an abusive mother, like a really religious, abusive
Yes,
adoptive
yes.
mother.
I watched this.
The plot twist at the end, where like the main guy, you thought he was the victim through the whole movie because everybody was forcing him to have sex with them and like casting spells on him, and at the end he's actually the villain. And I was so shocked. It was so good. It was so different than anything they've ever made, and I fully recommend everybody to watch it because it is really good. It's very different and it's very dark, but it is really good. It's also fast watch.
You know something interesting about that?
Hmm.
It's also my number 5.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yes, but I didn't put it. You said cheat and right, and I was like, how come I don't remember it? Because I called it choice.
Oh, yeah. Cheat the Series. I kind of want to swap it now because I think I actually like it now that I'm thinking about it, like it more than Quarren Things, just because of how different it was.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so like its own thing. I've still never seen a Philippine BL that has those same kind of plot lines. Like I haven't seen it done again. So like I want to almost switch it because of that reason. But
the fact that I remember when I first watched it, I felt so bad for V.
mm-hmm.
Oh my god!
You thought he was the victim the whole time.
I've never been like bamboozled.
I have one. My first one we talked about, which is Game Boy. My second one is Ben X Gym, and then my last one is Stuck on You, the series. For like Philippines, like tropes and stuff, and what they were good at, I put that they excel at giving the audience a simple, cozy, and everyday love.
Mm-hmm.
Because these are all like everyday stories that regular everyday people have. There's no like crazy supernatural other than Cheat.
Yes.
There's no like crazy outside force. It's just regular people falling in love with regular people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's usually in their homes, and it's simple and it's cozy
and relatable. So you want to go to Vietnamese BLs, Vietnam BLs?
So my first one for Vietnam is called Want to See You, the series.
Okay.
And the main guy loses his vision, and this main guy is the guy I was mentioning before, where he's in like a lot of Vietnamese BL.
Okay.
And he loses his vision, and he has to get a caretaker because of it. And he ends up falling in love with his caretaker, but because of other reasons, the caretaker doesn't feel like he should stay. The guy ends up getting his vision back, and his caretaker doesn't feel like he should stay next to him and doesn't feel worthy to be, in a relationship with him. So he leaves, and that guy that lost his vision doesn't know what he looks like. So he like goes out to try to find him, and it's their story.
I'll get mine. My first one is My Luxurious Boss.
Okay. I think I've heard of it, but I don't think I watched it.
The plot is basically it starts off with this like guy, and he's a cross dresser, and this boss, like they're at like a bar, right? And the boss basically sees him and is like, "Ooh, like she's pretty," basically, and believes that like she's a she. And he smells the perfume, right? And like they walk away because they're like, "Oh, like run!" Like they don't want to be caught, like
yeah,
because like they get money from that. He ends up losing his job somewhere somehow, and then he ends up his friends and slash neighbors work at the coffee shop. He's like, "Oh, we have an opening at our coffee shop. Do you wanna apply?" Right? And they're like, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'll apply." He goes, he gets the job. But he gets the job, but he doesn't know what the boss looks like either.
Mm-hmm.
So he thinks the boss's younger brother is the boss, basically, and he gets confused. And like now, like the boss's younger brother is in love with him, and he accidentally beats up boss. He thinks he's breaking in.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of stuff happens because like now he's like, "You kind of smell like that girl. You kind of And so he's like, I want to talk to your sister. And so now there's two brothers after the same person, basically. And I won't tell you the rest, but yeah.
Okay, that one sounds good. My second one is called Follow My Sunshine.
Uh-huh.
And it's about like two childhood friends. One of the friends has been secretly in love with the other for a long time. And like they have one of those friendships where like they kind of are too friendly with each other. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like the guy that is secretly in love with him, he just takes care of him a lot. So he goes a little extra that like a regular best friend wouldn't, but because he likes him, he goes ahead and does it for him. And the other friend is oblivious and he has a girlfriend, but he doesn't know his secret. He doesn't know his best friend secretly loves him, and they move in together when they go into college. And yeah, I don't want to ruin it, but it's a really good one.
Okay. My second one, well, it's a music video. I've talked about it last time. The King and the White Lotus.
Yep.
I will 100% count this as a BL. I will not back down.
It is. My third one is called Love Bill.
Love Bill.
It also has the main guy that's in Want to See You the series. But it's pretty much about like Want to See You the series, he's the guy that loses his vision. But in this one, he's an aspiring writer.
Mm-hmm.
And he lives at his house that is also a rental. And there's a runaway like teenager, I guess. I think he's like 19 or 20. So he's like young, but he's not an underage teenager. But he runs away because of family issues, and this renter allows him to live with him. And the renter has had bad experience with love in the past because he was in a relationship with another guy, and that other guy didn't want to come out, so he turned on the other guy and was like, it was all him, he's the gay one, it's not me, I never loved you, you thought too much about this, we weren't in a relationship, you're disgusting, and then like left him, and then everybody like hated him. So he has like trauma. And then this new guy comes and is renting, and he slowly starts to fall in love with him, but the other guy's really resistant. And so it's about him trying to like break through this other guy's walls to get him to realize that like you can love somebody. Somebody can love you and not have like bad intentions. My next one is You Are My Boy. Yep, it's ma, like M-A, my boy. You are my boy. And it's on YouTube, I think. Maybe not. I think this one might be the one that's not on YouTube. I'm not sure. But it's about this like actor. I think he's an actor. He's a really famous guy, and he's running from the paparazzi. So he goes into like this tea shop, and there's a guy working there. And to get away, he hides behind like the counter, and they kind of have like a moment. The guy that works at the tea shop does not like him. He has no patience for him. He does not care about his problems. He does not like him just because he's an actor. Like right off the bat, he does not like him. The other guy is kind of conceited and self-absorbed because he's like a famous actor. You know, everybody loves him. But they like he hides him in his tea shop, and then they like I think they switch outfits or something. But then the actor guy can't stop thinking about him. So he keeps going back and tracking him down and pretty much annoying him into falling for him. So my next one is called Mr. Cinderella.
I've heard about this one.
Yes.
I haven't. That's on my to watch list.
They it's about the main guy in the show is also the same main guy from my other shows. But it's pretty much a relationship between a doctor and a gangster. The gangster gets beaten up in like a brawl, so he goes to the hospital to get patched up. And it's funny because they have like a teasing relationship where like the gangster doesn't really want to have anything to do with the doctor, but the doctor like is like, but I like you. And you like me too. So we're going to just keep annoying each other because I know you like me because you let me stay around.
Oh. That's how you get them.
Yeah, they have some good, like really cute kisses too.
Did you have any honorable mentions?
Yeah, I have 3. The first one is called Stage of Love, and then my next one is Hey First Love, and then my last one, and it's called Nation's Brother. And then I said, for like Vietnamese BL, a lot of theirs, couples, they focus on like enduring love or love that somebody kind of just finds out of nowhere. Like they're walking on the same street and they bump into each other and it's like that out of nowhere love. Or they have like finding the one, and that one person like completes you. So they have like an enduring, out of nowhere, or finding the one kind of love tropes.
Wow, we talked about a lot of shows.
Yeah, we did.
How many shows exactly?
I have 50 on my list, just my list.
One,
So if
two,
you have like close to that, we talked about 100 shows with like honorable mentions and everything.
yeah. Oh my god, we have over 100.
We have no life.
I'm like, how did we get through all of these and still have time for K-pop?
Yeah. And this is only our tops. This isn't even all our shows. These are just like
there's so many shows that are we have never talked about.
Yeah, these are just our top 5 for each country.
Yeah. Oh my god, I didn't realize this is how many we watched or I've watched or in general. Oh my god.
Yeah.